a machine right now. It's in my official machine, so certain things I was not able to install. But yeah, I have a working demo which I can show and then get this through. Perfect. Okay. Let me quickly share my screen. Has anyone worked on this area, process mining and task mining in Power Automate? Just a quick check in the audience to see if. Okay. All right. So yeah, welcome again, and sorry for the mix-up. So to start with, so I'm gonna talk about a process efficiency overall in our BPM model. So here, so we all know, there are a lot of processes that we have, and then a lot of processes that are there in every other work we do. And the topic is more towards understanding the process, how we can dig deep on the process and then sort of bring more insights via this process mining and the RPA capability. So my agenda is more towards talking about how this came into a typical world right now, and then the threes W's: what, why, and when we actually want to go for this, and then really how it works, and then I'll have a demo, and then we can get into that. So yeah, I'm Seth Kumar, so I'm a senior architect at Cognizant, and I pretty much focus on modern workplace, which constitutes, of course, SharePoint, Power Platform, and a bit of Azure as well. And I'm a hackathon enthusiast. I like to participate in a lot of hackathons. I've won few in global and then into an organization level as well. So just getting into this, right? I'm sure automation is not anymore a buzzword, and everyone talk about automation, and then but as we all know, we've kind of evolved from the world of a regular automation to hyper automation. Over the period of time, I think last 3-4 years back, Gartner has actually coined this term automation. So yeah, sorry, hyper automation, mainly of the fact that more and more things are getting into an automated world, and with the help of all these tools in the below, you will see the real automation that is really happening. And of course, it's all part of the industrial 4.0, the digital transformation world that we are right now. And with that, if you see, there are a lot of these drivers which are actually driving this hyper automation world. And I've just picked the one which is in the last, just called process and task automation. So many a times, as I said, we get into a process, we do a lot of process, and we end up in not knowing what really is happening over here. That's where this process mining comes into play. It's basically a technique which is basically to discover, analyze, and improve the process that we have right now with the mining methods. So I'm sure some of you are aware of data mining, where a lot of data people are there, data scientists are there. They're kind of processed with a lot of tons and tons of data, and then they're trying to kind of you know get some insights off to it, is what is the role of them. So that is a typical case over here. Instead of data, we also sort of look more into the process aspect. So as I said, so the data mining is another world, and then BPM is another world. But this process mining will actually, I would say, unionize both of it, and then by which you'll be able to get the data, by which you'll be able to understand, what is available, and then what sort of challenges we have, and how we can sort of analyze and then improve efficiently. And again, so with this, with RPA included and AI capability included, it will give lot of valuable insights, and give us a way in terms of moving a lot of things into automation. If you, let's see a typical process, lot of things could be happening manually. Some of them could be happening in a system-based manner. Some of them could be happening by a system itself. But this process, with the use of this process mining, we'll be able to sort of collaborate everything, combine all, or rather consolidate it all in one window, and then see what is happening in that stage, and we'll be able to figure out which one we can pick, and then which one kind of gives us more mileage there. And with this, because it's going to give us more insight, we'll be able to sort of analyze things, improve the process. So once we have the process improvement, definitely the ROI is going to be high. So with this, you'll realize a significant amount of ROI on this, where, with automation and all, things are going to be in a much more improved version, and then will it will have a much better version with improved and efficiency with reduced cost as well. Right. So why do we do that, right? I mean, why this mining is important, right? So if you look at any process today, anyone that has been building it, even let's take even a leave approval process, right? So we always feel that the process is, certainly simple. All we want is to have it as a simple process by which the work is getting done, which doesn't involve too many foot flows, too many transactions, or too many deviations or so. That's basically expectations of our entire process as well. But in reality, if you look at it, it actually, it doesn't really go that way. You will have a process which will have an approver. An approver may not approve it properly. It may get into an orphan case. So a lot of cases happen in a real-time scenario where your expectation may not be really met. And that's when the mining gets important. So you will know, if I get into the reality, if I start mining, I kind of see what is happening there really. What are the kind of thing which is causing me problem? What are the kind of thing which is causing me delays? And how, why is it sort of, making it not so efficient to sort of, bring that more clarity on it. So that's basically the reason, why we generally go for mining. It is to understand. It is basically, as I say, so it's basically to visualize the assets process. So first thing is to see what is happening currently. I may have a 10-stage process. I may have a 10-step process. With this mining, we will clearly see in a typical KPIs and dashboards as to what is really happening on the current set of process. So once we know what is happening there, it gives us a clarity to understand issues, which could tell us, which could tell us, okay, this process is taking this much time. This could be the area where we'll have to look out. And by looking at those, we'll also kind of get to have a root causes as well. Okay, so these are the process that have a problem. So for this process, delay, this could be the root cause. So this will help us to understand that. And also by looking at the timing, by looking at the processing time that actually takes, we'll know what process takes more, what process takes less, and accordingly, you'll know which one to actually focus on. And then probably it also goes towards the user to see who's doing that, when is doing that, and why. Many a times the efficiency can also be brought out at an individual level. An individual can probably do, I mean, basically a person A can do a better job than person B, which means each one has got their own behavior. So with this, at a user level, will also will be able to see how things are there, how it actually, how it's being done, and how one person is able to do a same job better than the other person. With that, so having done that, all this above, so you will have a area to say, okay, this is probably the case where I have a challenge. This is where I probably have an inefficiency. So you can sort of, start benchmarking certain things by using by sort of, getting all that data. And with that, once you have a benchmark, and then once you start putting all the data towards that benchmark, you will have a better lead time. And then that's when it results in your value improvements towards your process. And it has to be a continuous manner. So this process has to go into a continuous mode so that monitoring happens every time. So you will sort of, see this process evolving at a much faster rate, and it also has a much improved efficiency. Right. So how it works, I mean, I think we spoke about that. So we've already seen how it is all on when we have to do. But if you look at how it actually works, it's a three-stage process. As we have seen, the first step is more towards gathering data. So I may have 10 different process that is happening for my particular functionality, or for my particular use case. For that 10 different functionalities, I'll have to have data towards it to understand basically what is there, right? I mean, so the data capturing is a very important step over here. And your data could be anywhere. For example, this could be in your local machine where in your some of your Excel file where you can keep the data, or this could also be in your SAP, or this data could be in your SQL somewhere. So first step is to sort of collect all the data which business maintains, and the same data would also require, as I said, the user information and then the stakeholder information and all. So once you have that data as a whole, where you have a data towards the system and then data towards the user and data towards the system in place, you will have a better consolidation of it. And then you can get into the stage two, where using the BPM or using this process mining tool, you'll be able to sort of mine this data and put them onto the tool, which will mine it for you on different perspective or different attributes, and then get you insights. I'll show you a demo on how it is. So this is the place where you will actually start seeing what is happening on my data. You will get to know, okay, this is what it is taking more time, and this is the process that is killing me, or this is the location who's not performing well, or this is probably a user who's having challenges on completing as compared to others. So this is when the whole, I would say, insights happen, whole magic happen, and then you will start get the data, and then you'll have a dashboards available by with this tool. Thereby, you will actually see where you can remediate, and then where you can apply AI. And then the final step is, of course, applying the AI. It could be via RPA process, where you can automate this via RPA, or if it's let's say if it's a small digital transformation where you'll have to create that as an app, which you can do that. And then if you want to apply some AI capabilities over there to sort of bring some prediction and all sort of AI capabilities can actually happen once you have the proper insights. Let me quickly get into the demo. Any questions so far on why we do why we do process mining? Okay. I've lost a bit of rhythm, I'm sorry, especially because it's kind of I had a mess and I had to regroup everything in my other environment. Otherwise, that could probably be the reason for the flow. But let me try my best. I've just set it up a new environment, so I'm sure this should go. And I hope, if at all, if not, I already have a lot of things that have been available, so I can showcase that. All right. So first thing we do is on process mining. So process mining is available as part of Power Automate. So if you go to Power Automate, you will see the process mining section here, which gets into a space where you can actually create process and then start taking things out. Right. One of the core thing that we had is this process mining desktop app. So this is an app as like your Power Automate desktop. There is a desktop app available for process mining, but unfortunately, since I moved to my another machine, I was not able to install. But I mean, that's just about having more insights. But the core process happens over here. So let me start with creating a new process. So here I have two options. One, that's what I talk about process mining and task mining. If it is more of a process, I will have a data and then I'll start playing with the data. And if you do not have any data available to you, then when you can get into a task mining where you can action this via your recording. You can do whatever that you want to do and then get all your work being recorded, and then which can be considered as a process, and then mining will happen from there. But for this demo, I mean, I'll see if I can have a demo of both. But for now, I'll start with a process mining from data. I'm taking a sample data I have right now. There are 4 steps that we have for it. The first is all about connecting to your data. So I have data available in my local, so I'll connect it. There are various options that you have. So right now I'm picking my CSV that I have, but if you can see a lot of data options available. This could be code similar to your Power BI. You would have seen a lot of things available for Power BI quite close to that. But here there are a lot of other areas in SAP and all is also available. So when you want to connect to your real time, you just have to wire it to your actual, let's say, SharePoint list or a SQL server, and then you can start mining from the data as well. For this demo, I'll pick the one that I have. Got it. Yeah. So again, as I said, it is typical. It is quite close to your Power Query or Power BI. So it kind of process my data that is available and then brought my it as a preview. So this is basically invoice data. So I have think of it as an invoice management system where I have a data or the invoice being processed from different areas. So I have this invoice data available with, let's say, the data. There are data from San Diego, which is in a different location, and with different vendors and buy different resource, and then they're having a different process, and then the type of the activity. So this is my I would say sample. I would say for the respective invoice, I'll know from where it is actually being processed and by whom it's being processed, and for which vendor that are actually going through, and what is the value for it, and when was it performed, and what was that activity. So I'm not tampering anything on that data. I'm just going to use the data as such. So if you want to massage anything on the data, for example, as we generally used to do on Power BI, where if you want to transform certain columns, if you want to merge certain columns from your data, all those are available over here. As you whatever that you used to do in Power BI for data massaging, the same thing is what has been available as part of Power Query and then transformation. So you can massage your data in a way that you want to go with before you submit this to the system. This is the key thing for process mining. So for anything to do with the process, there are three key attributes that you'll have to tag with, which is basically your case ID. That is basically your unique identifier. And then what kind of process that you want to go with, meaning what kind of activity that you want to go, and then what sort of timestamps that you're talking about, whether it's so basically started in. So these three are mandatory activities that you'll have to pick and you have to choose from. So I'm going to pick this and then I'm going to start mapping my data to that. So for case ID, I already have a case ID here. So I'm going to give the case ID. Activity, I have an activity. And then I have a timestamp. Next. And I have a resource. Yeah, but you'll have to pick bare minimal three, but if at all, if you have any other areas, you can pick that too. Shouldn't be an issue. Right. So this will now pick up the data, process the data, and then start generating the results, start generating the visualizations, KPIs, maps, and all in terms of, so basically it give you a complete end-to-end view of your data with KPIs and dashboards. Let's see that. But as I said, so unfortunately, I was not able to pull this process mining app. This process mining app is a much more comprehensive one, which will have an ability to query and filter a lot of attributes. But as for this one, you will still have a report over here, which could give you and what is really happening and what sort of insights you can have. But with process mining, you'll be able to drill down more. And I had the demo of a full version of it in the other one, but somehow I couldn't bring that one, but this will give us a view of, what we're trying to do here. It will take some time. Meanwhile, in parallel, once I'm done with this, as I said, I'll also show you on another way on how we can sort of, record this and then bring in case if you're not able to automate your data, if you're relying on user to do some level of recording, we'll also have a recording feature where we can record whatever areas that we do, and then we can even manage from there. I'll show you that as well. So this is basically the report that it has now brought up, which has got a summary of what is really happening over there. I mean, this gives you a very neat and clear dashboards, which talks about the invoice process overall. Basically what sort of process is really happening on that. I mean, I have an invoice entry, I have this kind of process, and there is a region where I'll go to approval. There is a region where I go for a memo. So it will pick, or rather, it will identify the data in it and then identify the process in it and then generate the process map over here. So this will know on what process. I mean, basically, for example, if you have, I have number of cases over here on each of the stages, how many cases I have. This is one set of feature that we have, which will showcase that. And then this is basically the map that I can see. And it also talks about the different variants. Variants meaning one case can actually have a proper flow, and one case may have a different combination of different flow. So that is when if you look at, for example, this, I have a variant of individual process. This combination itself, I had 61 variants over here. And I think you have a legend. So this talks about, so these are all the different variants I have for that particular data, and then the number of cases that constitute for that variant. The maximum number of cases that we have is 68 for a variant which has got 5 events. So basically, this is more of a very simple flow where 51% of the cases got done. Maybe it may not have gone for any approval, rejection, or it may not have gone for any review kind of thing. And then if you look at the other variant, which has got 8 even, and this is actually a combination of these process. What you have, the kind of activity that we have. These are all the list of activity for every process, and that's the combination of it. So it not only shows the process, but it also shows the various probabilities and various probabilities and combinations on how this data being there and how the data is being evolved to. And I mean, usually you can also drill down into this, but the drill down feature is not available in the online site. But I'll show you a quick picture of how it is there in the task mining app that I spoke about. And apart from that, as I said, the variants, so we talk about 10 different variants there. This is just what I've seen in the variant DNA. And we have 133 cases from the document, and then we have 13 activities which constitutes towards it. So on an average, it says it takes 2.39 days to sort of, take a case into a closure. And that's more of these are all kind of invoice that have started available on that from this data basically. But as I said, so on this Power Automate Online, you only have this flavor. But in the process mining app I spoke, it has got a lot of options there. Let me at least, I'm not able to bring on, but If you look at this, this is the thing that whatever we have seen in the online version, and this is what is there in the tool version. If you look at the tool, you will have a much clearer map, and you will also have a lot of areas to mine. Right now, it gives me a standard map in terms of the process that we have. But let's say if I want to do a specific mining, I'll be able to mine based on right now, this is mine based on activity. But if I go towards mine this based on a location, you will see a very nice view which is being done by a location. Maybe as I said, I'm not able to go, but I'll try to probably see if I can bring it. I've done that in another a demo, which maybe I'll bring that on here. Maybe while we wait. Yeah, and there are several cool features. We have it over here, but we can but as I said, so right now this is dying mined on activity name. I'll probably show you one another way where we mine this based on location, so you will know on which location you have higher cases being done for a similar value, and similarly for timestamp we can see who's taking higher time, and similarly if we go with resource, we will know which resource is taking more time to complete that. And similarly, if you look at other thing in the left-hand side, there are these are all certain options available right now in process mining, where the root cause analysis is something that you can actually identify from by looking at the time it is actually taking. And there is a new feature that's called process compare. So what I can do over here is I can pick two different views. This is basically a view based on activity name, and then I can pick another view of map based on a resource. So then I'll be able to sort of, compare both the process and then see where it is actually lagging. So those kind of options are available in process compare as well. So this is probably, I mean, again, as I said, so this is a high level view on how the process mining works in Power Automate, how it can take the data and how it can get it. So basically from here, you will get to know what sort of insights based on the process, and how you'll know which area it is taking more time, and then you can take steps on reducing it, and you can see if it can do automation for that and bring on these areas. Yeah. I'll probably see one more thing. I mean, this is one more area I have done. I'll probably create it. If not, I'll just try to do a quick task mining here by doing a recording and then show you how it is happening.
Yeah, just jumping in, yes, and then you have 10 minutes to close, including questions.
Or 10 minutes, okay. Yeah. So here I'm going to do a task mining here I mean, I'll just simply simulate a small process of what I do, and then we will see how, the tool takes and starts recording it, and then see how it actually mines from there and what sort of recommendation it actually does. And we'll skip that one. This opens up a Power Automate desktop. As you have, I mean, if you're aware of RPA process in Power Automate desktop, we can do the similar thing wherein we can record whatever that we do in our, as we all know, RPA focuses more on your personal machines and then automate something on your personal one as well. And this task recording follows a similar process. Let me see if I can, yeah, quickly record it. The slides, it takes some time. I'm just doing a very simple activity. I'll just put that, there is something new. So the recording has been done. And nothing. Actually, no. I think something is. I think this is having some issue, and I thought it's captured. It is once it captured, it kind of gets into the process mining space automatically. What happens is once you have started recording, you will have. So I mean, this is one thing. For example, this is the recording that I've done for this some time before. And it actually captured the same thing that I have done. Basically, it has gone and I've done the same thing, meaning I've opened the Excel, I've then created a new record. So whatever recording that you have, it'll come in over here. And for example, you may probably do 25 steps in your recording. So instead of grouping it all together, you can sort of, combine this and then have it as an activity. You can do this by clicking an activity and then splitting something in between. So then each activity constitutes a group of steps that you perform. So now that it kind of gives it as an activity. Once you have this, so once I save it as an activity, this task mining will have a cool feature called recommendations. So by looking at the activity, looking at the process mining or this tool will actually recommend or rather, highlight the areas that can be automated. Maybe that's what you have seen in the one, but I think it's taking some time. Let it come. So once you have this all done, so for this, I have I'll open an analytics tab. Analytics will actually give me the overall similar to the process map that we have seen in process mining. Here also I'll have a map which I've based on the areas that I have done, steps that I perform. There you go. So this is based on recordings. I'll have one record. Right now I have only one thing that I've done. So it's basically a smaller process that I have. And then variant wise is just about one. But this is the cool feature. So all I have done is just two simple steps. But process mining understands that is more of an activity which can be automated. So now you will see whatever steps that I've done, activities that has been done, you will know whether this there is a possibility of automation here. So once you have these kind of areas, and then you'll have some idea of what can be automated, you can use this automate activate section which automatically goes to Power Automate and then suggest the areas that we can pick for this flow. For example, right now we all know it's an Excel. Excel is what I've actually uh, came in and then entered data and then submitted the activity. It's no is more towards Excel. So when I go towards automation of, I mean, when I take this recommendation and then start submitting for automation, it will it will suggest to me the steps that we can take from Power Automate. For example, for this Excel, it knows that for this activity, you're more doing on Excel Online. So you go with Excel. And similarly, your submission is also happening in Excel Online. So these are the recommendations we can do. So we can pick it from here and then we can start automating it. But this is something that is automating now. But if I think recently we have a copilot came in on Power Process Mining as well. So on the process mining a copilot now, the moment you click on automate activities, instead of that coming over here in Power Automate and suggesting it, it actually creates a flow for us. So that is a clear level of hyper automation. So with if you have a Copilot license, I don't have right now, but if you have Copilot, it will transform the way that you do manually into and then get into a basic bare minimal flow and then give it to you. I mean, obviously there cannot be 100% there, but you will definitely have 50 to 60% of flow that you wanted to create, and you'll be able to manage with that. So that's the level of automation that we see, recommendation that we see, and that's when with this, it's the kind of end-to-end tool as we see. It is not about just analyzing the data and then identifying the things. It is also about recommendation of a place where we can do automation. And then we get into a space where we can do automate and then complete a full scale end-to-end automation here with this. So yeah, I think maybe I would have been more happier if it have shown a bit more on process mining tool with all different thing. But I think this could be a good exercise. But this is what if I quickly want to show what I've done. So you can do a lot of filters. I mean, I'm just giving a quick sneak peek of what we have in process thing and then doing it. So with this, you can create a map, you can filter the map, and then you can have it as I said, you can have it as another record, maybe have it as another view. And there are, I mean, this is process compare, where you can pick two views, and then you can compare the process and then see where and all you have challenges. And there's another cool view where if I can look on location, this will give me the location. Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe I think you can definitely explore that and then expand the part, please.
Yeah, Sendil, can you share this link on the chat so that the audience have it handy and probably take questions over chat so that we can begin the next session?
Yeah, sure. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that's pretty much. I think let me quickly close on the thing demo. So KPI is what you have seen. I think So we know the benefits right now. So benefit is all about we can optimize the process, ROI is improved, we have a more transparency. Now that we have a data available, so decisions can be considered as a data-backed decisions rather than just going with a vague one, right? I mean, so whenever we do analysis of data, sometimes we take it as a random one and then say, or we'll go with a guess estimate. But now we have a data, now we have analytics based on that. So you have a data that is backed by your decisions that are backed by data, not just your own decisions as such. So these are key things that we have on thing. And if you look at the Magic Quadrant last year, process mining, I think Microsoft is more in a challenger space because Microsoft has acquired Minet last year. So I mean, I'm sure definitely this year they'll get into a typical leader segment. And this is basically a market value. We are looking at there's a huge potential now because people always tend to have this mining as a last thing. They'll not they'll probably see people can do it and all, but tool is this tool is going to play a major role on, understanding the process, mining the process, and then, pave way for this complete, RPA or this end-to-end hyper automation. And different use cases. There are a couple of use cases, as we all know, in terms of process mining, and each and every industry we can go. And yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you, sponsors, and thank you, team, for this opportunity. Yeah. I'm sorry about this mess with the demo and other thing, but I hope at least I was able to cover 80% of what I want to do. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandil. Great.